As we discussed in Chapter 1, collaboration is the rule today and an overwhelming majority of white-collar professionals, so we need partners to complete the work. This chapter focuses on developing team, meeting, listening, nonverbal, and etiquette skills. These are some of the professional skills that employers seek in the hyper-connect, competitive work environment of digital age. Excelling in teams. You will discover that the workplace is teeming with teams. You might find yourself a part of a work team. All of these teams are formed to accomplish specific goals. This objective helps explain the popularity of teams, which are formed for the following reasons. There are better decisions, faster response, increased productivity, greater buy-in, less resistant to change, improved employee morale, and reduced risks. Understanding the 4 phases of team development. As you can see in that picture, 4 phases of team development in decision making divided into 4 categories. The first one is forming. During the first stage, individuals get to know each other. And the second one is storming. During the second phase, members define their roles and responsibility, decide how to reach their goals, and iron out the rules governing how they interact. Unfortunately, this stage often produces conflict, resulting in storming. The next stage is norming. Once the sun returns to the sky, teams and groups enter the norming stage. Tension subsides, roles are clarified, and information begins to flow among members. And the last stage is performing. For those that survive the first 3 phases, however, the final stage is gratifying. Group members have established routines and a shared language. They develop loyalty and a willingness to resolve all problems. Identifying positive and negative team behavior. Positive group behaviors are setting rules and abiding by them, analyzing text and dividing problems, encouraging members to participate. Negative group behaviors are blocking the ideas of others, insulting and criticizing others, withdrawing, failing to participate. Reaching group decisions. Reaching group decisions divided into 5 categories. The first one is majority. Group members vote and a majority wins. The second one is consensus. Discussion continues until all team members have aired their opinions and ultimately agree. The third one is minority. Typically, a subcommittee investigates and makes a recommendation for actions. The fourth one is averaging. Members haggle, bargain, withdraw, and negotiate to reach a middle position, which often requires compromise. The last one is authority role with discussion. The leader, boss, or manager listen to team members' ideas, but the final decision is his or hers.
Poor listening habits may result from several factors. Lack of training is one significant factor. Few schools give as much emphasis to listening as they do to development of reading, speaking, and writing skills. In addition, our listening skills may be less than perfect because of the large number of competing sounds that stimulate in our lips that interfere with concentration. Now you can see on the picture, listening in group or listening to non-active speakers further complicates the listening process. In groups, more than one person talk at once, and topics change rapidly. Group members are monitoring both verbal and non-verbal messages to learn that what relates to their group roles. Listening to non-active speakers often creates special challenge. Now there is 10 keys to building powerful listening skills. The first one is control external and internal distraction. The second one, become actively involved. Third one, separate facts from opinions and then identify important facts and then avoid interrupting. Next, ask clarifying question and then paraphrase to increase understanding. And next, capitalize on lag time and then take notes to ensure retention. And the last one, be aware of potential gender difference.
Next, we're going to talk about nonverbal communication. So, what is nonverbal communication? Nonverbal communication includes all unwritten and unspoken message, whether intended or not. These silent signals have a strong effect on receivers. There are 3 body sounds message. The first one is eye contact. The eyes have been called the windows to the soul. Even if they don't reveal the soul, the eyes are often the best predictor of a speaker's true feelings and attitudes. Most of us cannot look another person straight in the eye and lie. The second one is facial expression. The expression on a communicator's face can be almost as revealing emotion as the eyes. Most of us, however, display our emotions openly. Raising or lowering the eyebrow, squinting the eyes, swallowing nervously, clenching the jaw, smiling broadly. These voluntary and involuntary facial expressions can add to or entirely replace verbal message. And the last one is posture and gestures. An individual's posture can convey anything from high status and self-confidence to shyness and submissiveness. Leaning toward a speaker suggests attentiveness and interest. Pulling away or shrinking back denotes fear, distrust, anxiety, or disgust. Next is external elements that convey information in the communication process. There are time, space, and territory. Much like the personal appearance of an individual, the physical appearance of a business document transmits immediate and important nonverbal message. Ideally, this message should be pleasing to the eye. The first one is eye appeal of business document. In succeeding chapter, you will learn how to create documents that send positive nonverbal message through their appearance, format, organizations, readability, and correctness. And the second one is personal appearance. The way you look, your clothing, grooming, and postures to transmit an instant nonverbal message about you. Based on what they see, viewers make quick judgment about your status, credibility, personality, and potential. Next, we're going to talk about professionalism. Projecting and maintaining a professional image can make a real difference in helping you obtain the job of your dreams. Once you get that job, you are more likely to be taken seriously and much more likely to be promoted if you look and sound professional. An awareness of courtesy and etiquette can give you a competitive edge in the job market. Etiquette, civility, and goodwill efforts may seem out of place in today's fast-paced office. However, when two candidates have equal qualifications, the one who appears to be more polished and professional is more likely to be hired and promoted. You don't have to become an etiquette nut, but you might need to polish your social competencies a little to be an effective business person today. Here are a few simple pointers. The first one is use polite words. The second one is express sincere appreciations and praise. The third one is be selective in sharing personal information. Next, don't put people down, respect coworker space, rise above other rudeness, be considerate when sharing space and equipment with others, choose the high road in conflict, and the last one is disagree agreeably.
Next, planning and participating in face-to-face and virtual meetings. Business meetings consist of 3 or more people who assemble to pool information, solicit feedback, clarify policy, seek consensus, and solve problems. However, as growing numbers of employees work at distant locations, meetings have changed. Workers cannot always meet face-to-face. To be able to exchange information effectively and efficiently, you will need to know how to plan and participate in face-to-face as well as virtual meetings. Making face-to-face meetings productive. Although meetings are disliked, they can be career critical. At meetings, judgments are formed and careers are made or blended. Therefore, instead of treating them as thieves of your valuable time, try to see them as golden opportunities to demonstrate your leadership, communication, and problem-solving skills. To help you make the most of these opportunities, this section outlines best practices for running and contributing to meetings. Determining the purpose of a meeting. To decide whether the purpose of the meeting is valid, consult the key people who will be attending. Ask them what outcomes they desire and how to achieve those goals. This consultation also sets a collaborative tone and encourages full participation. They are selecting meeting participants, using digital calendars to schedule meetings, and distributing an agenda and other information. The yellow area is an example of a good agenda. Managing the meeting. Meetings can be more efficient and productive if leaders and participants recognize how to get the meeting started, establish ground rules, moving the meeting along, participating actively and productively, handling conflict in meetings, and concluding and following up. Preparing for virtual meetings. Although the same good meetings management techniques discussed for face-to-face meetings prevail, additional skills and practices are important in virtual meetings. The following best practices recommended by experienced meetings facilitator will help you address pre-meeting issues such as technology glitches, scheduling across time zone, and language challenge. So before the meeting, you can consider alternatives, invite the right people, use a calendar program, distribute an agenda, and training participants on technology. For during the meeting, you can start on time and introduce the agenda, appoint a secretary and a recorder, encourage participation, comfort conflict frankly, and summarize along the way. For the ending the meeting and following up, you can review meeting decisions, distribute minutes of the meeting, and the last one is remind people of action items.
One of the cases of companies in Indonesia that are famous for failing due to the failure of cooperation and communication is the case of Freeport-McMoRan and the government of Indonesia. This conflict lasted for years and had a major impact on Freeport-McMoRan's operations in Indonesia. This case is a clear example of how the failure of cooperation and communication can have a negative impact on the business world.